But what I think we might do is do it in two different locations, because there's two very different sort of styles that I want to kind of achieve to put on the website. So the first sort of idea that I had was a kind of retro sports kind of kitsch. So the buzz sheet that I made for that, the title of this shot will be 80s Kitsch Sports Bitch. So the thoughts that I had and the colours that I had in my head were the raspberry and the aqua, which are two really, really popular colours. The raspberry comes in the zip-up hoodie, and it comes in the racerback vest, which is one of the things that I really want photographed, because it's not something I've started doing yet, but something I want to start doing on the rack kind of thing. And both those colours in the slim fit tee and in the hoodies are really popular, and they go really well together. So that was the kind of colours that I had a prior knowledge in my head. So from the 80s Kitsch Sports Bitch, I kind of, what does that make me think of? So there was the raspberry and aqua. I also put roller skates. I put neon and nature as a kind of contrasting. And one of the things that's quite often good to do if you're trying to have an idea is take all the elements of the idea and try and describe it as a person. So my description my description of a person that would embody the 80s Kitsch Sports Bitch idea is Betty Boop. Do you all know who she is? Yeah. Betty Boop meets Sports Barbie in an outdoor nightclub. That's the vibe I want for the photo shoot now. That sounds a little bit hard to achieve and ambitious, particularly the outdoor nightclub part, but do you see what I mean? It's kind of getting your ideas and being able to nail what you actually want it to look like in your head, and then you can pull out little parts. So that's my kind of sheet like that. The part that I want you to think about between now and when we meet again is the other shot that is along the similar lines. It will be shot at the same time in the same location as this shot is, which is retro teen dweeb. Right? Does anybody not know what dweeb is? Yes, you all know. Like there's no other words really. Geek would be good, just as good as dweeb, but I just prefer dweeb. So that's the only guidance I'm going to give you at this point is that description, and that it's going to be a male model if we ever get one. But I think Lewis is going to be ideal for this. Corey's brother is probably going to be on the go for this. So that's the one that I want you to think about at the moment, and how you might start to style that. The other things you need to think about, so we went through, that's the creative side of it. The impact, I knew it was going to be something that was shot on location outside, so that's the medium, and I knew I wanted it to be a composition shot. I knew I wanted at least 2 people in it, maybe 3. And how does it feel that we've just kind of done that? That's how I want it to feel. The other things you have to deal with are the influences. So the location, how is the location going to influence what you want to achieve? How is the product going to influence what you want to achieve, and the people involved? So once you've got that idea, you've got to kind of try and apply it to where you're going to be, who you're going to be working with, and the opposite way. For the guys, I'm glad you all said about the sports stripe thing, because one of the things I want to push are these sweat jackets that I do. So, because they're great quality things, and they're very applicable to lots of different kind of, you could wear them quite smart, you can wear them quite casual. So that's one of the things I want to photograph, and that's one of the items that I want you to kind of consider as you're thinking about how your shop could be set up. Back there. I'm going to try and keep it simple in terms of how much of my stuff we use. So for the guys, the sweat jackets and these slim fit t-shirts, which are probably like the more popular retail item that I do for guys, so just a slightly trendier cut. These are the 2 probably most popular colours in them, but I don't necessarily want you to stick to that. The other things I brought to show you shows you the racerback vest. These shorts for the 80s what it is. So the starting point really for you guys just now is this. But how we work this, because there's a lot of people interested in photography and the photography side, the behind the camera side of things. What I haven't mentioned as yet is the layer sort of behind this, which is the DVD and the shooting of the DVD on the day of the photo shoot. So what I would like is, if anybody is particularly interested in filmmaking, if they would volunteer. Now the two guys that aren't here tonight actually might be good for this, because they've put filmmaking as being an interest of theirs, but also photography. But if anybody particularly wanted to be involved in that side of it, that would be good, because what's going to happen with that on the day is my dad, who, other than being my dad, runs a very successful design company in Aberdeen, and one of the things that he does is he makes corporate DVDs. So what he's going to do is he's going to come out on the day with his professional photographer who shoots corporate DVDs all the time. But they'll be there, really, they'll shoot some stuff, but I want the majority of it to be shot by you guys. Sorry, my boots are stuck together. It's a hazard with these boots, I've realised. And now I can't cross my legs. There we go. So does anybody, before I get sorry, you have to bear with me because I have these strings of thoughts and I go off on random tangents all the time. The photo side of things, does anybody want anything anybody wants to ask about the photos? Yes?
Do you have a specific location? Like, do we have?
Yes, that is on my list. If I followed my notes like a professional would, then yeah, location, here we go. So, it's good that people ask me questions because then it brings me back to what I was thinking about. So, the location, it's got to be central, right? It's got to be somewhere in Banchory, and the reason for that is I want people to see what we're doing. I want people to clock that there's something going on involving young people and them to be interested in it. Now, the only way of really doing that is doing it somewhere where there are going to be a lot of people. My original thought was a recreation ground down, you know, where the tennis courts are, and the putting green and that kind of area. Craig's...
No, carry on.
Okay. But I've yet to ask if that's going to... It's not open at the moment, obviously it shuts for winter, but we may be able to get access to that. We may not. It depends how the council want to approach that. So I need to find out about that. That would be sort of scenario one. Nicole made the suggestion of doing something with a sort of well-known kind of landmark in the background, like maybe Drum Castle or something, which would mean we could do a couple of different shots in different parts and it would all be in the same place. But then, are we going to get the same exposure? Probably not. So I think it needs to be somewhere in the village. What I was going to suggest actually is maybe at some point over the next week, myself and possibly maybe Nicole and a couple other people, if they wanted to, could just go out on foot around the village and see if there is anywhere. Because I'd like it to, because obviously in Banchory we're surrounded by, you know, quite beautiful natural surroundings, but a lot of the ideas that I have and a lot of the direction that I want the business to go has quite an urban feel to it as well, so I wanted to be very friendly. But yeah, so the recreation ground is plan A, but there'll be a plan B and a plan C as well, because what we also have to consider is weather. As it stands, this is looking like it's going to run at the end of the Easter holidays. Now, I thought a Saturday or a Sunday would be a good day, but I had a bit of a sort of inspired thought that actually the village, I don't know if you're ever in Banchory on a Friday afternoon, but it's like Piccadilly Circus. It's so busy, there's loads of people going about. So I've actually thought Friday, the last Friday in the Easter holidays, might be a good time to do it. It's ending away that weekend. It's the weekend of the 10th of April. That's alright, wattage. Don't worry. Any of you lot away? No? Right, good. Brilliant. Right, so the location is to be confirmed, we'll say, but that's the sort of the vibe I want for the location. Any other questions about the photos? What I'll do, where's my, yeah, I'll get the MacBook and I'll show you some examples of a miniature photo shoot that myself and Corey and Nicole did last week. Don't shake your head, Corey, they're brilliant photos.